Hello, my friends. Wes Gow here with Cardinal Coaching Solutions Podcast. Welcome back. So glad that you are here, and at least where I'm at here in the Mid-Atlantic, I'll give you kind of my typical weather report. It's pretty cloudy. It's actually really cloudy. It's going to rain most of the day, but abundant sunshine is on the other side of this. And if you've been listening for a while, you know that I am I'm basically 100% solar powered. So I'm gonna make it through today, and then we'll be fully batteries will be fully charged tomorrow when the sun comes back out. But I gotta tell you, if you're watching on the YouTube, all this rain is just, gosh, it's really bad for my beard. It just makes it rough. It's like it's a bad hair day, and as you can tell, that is the only hair I have aside from my eyebrows. So just bear with me. Also, you may hear some sounds off to the side here. That is Captain, and he likes to act like a captain sometimes. That's our Basenji puppy. He's coming up on his 1-year birthday. But he doesn't like being in his crate when I'm doing this kind of thing. He's kind of a mic hog. So anyway, we're making it. Speaking of making it, here we are. We're in the holiday season. I mean, like it or not, ready or not, it's here. I'm never ready for this time of year, it seems like. I like this time of year, but it always feels like, where did this come from? How did we get here this fast? And I don't know if you're like me in some ways. Landing the plane here in 2021, I'm more exhausted this year than I was last even. And I think in part that's because there were times where it felt like just give and take this year. It felt like we've made it on the other side. No, we haven't. Now maybe we have. No, we have. So, and that's actually what I want to share a little bit about this morning. For me, it's morning here anyway. And that's, I'm not going to dive deep into the weeds on COVID or politics or anything like that. I don't have the emotional bandwidth for that conversation. That's not what this is for. But it is a learning that I recently experienced around that. Because my goodness, we have had 18 to 20 months here of the hardest course in life maybe some of us have ever had. It seems certainly as, a history of the planet maybe we've ever had. So anyway, I was really back and forth about kind of how transparent to be on this. And so I'll just come right at it. I'll just hit it right on the nose. And again, none of this is to discuss like my personal stance or position on any of this. It's more about the learning that I experienced from it. And so about 2 weeks ago, now I'll set some context here. My wife and I both work. We both have full-time jobs. Jobs that, involve us being on site, jobs with patients, clients, meetings, things like that. And about 10 days ago, we got a text at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, which is prime get ready for school time. That's dressed, breakfast. We've got 2 girls, so that means do the hair. We're right in the thick of it. And we got a text saying, essentially, long story short, that due to a number of COVID positive tests recently in the school, that the school is going to close, going to shut down for 10 days. Now, one of those days was a federal holiday. Now, I should specify the school was going to go virtual for 10 days. So learning was going to continue. Teachers were going to post lessons in Google Classrooms and track and grade that material. This isn't the first time this has happened. It happened a couple times last year. But what that does for us is instantaneous stress. Because immediately that day is total scramble mode. My wife and I both having to give When can you be home? When can you be home? Let's send some texts and see if we can find some childcare at some point over the next 10 days. We don't have family in town here. It is immediate emotions. It's immediate stress. I'm telling you, almost like nothing else. It is this cascade of emotions and cortisol levels just spiking, coursing through our bodies. Because now, we not only have to just make it through this day and not only make it through, that happened on a Wednesday, we have to find a way to make it through the next week and a half. And so that involves my wife and I rescheduling patients, rescheduling clients, canceling meetings. It puts us on thin ice in terms of, this balancing act with our jobs, our employers, and yet the responsibility with our kids. Our kids are young enough to where we have to be the ones to navigate the computer, print out the lesson plans. By the way, our printer is basically dead. We didn't want to, go spend money on a new printer, and yet here's all these lesson plans, and now we got to figure out how are we going to do this. And I got to be honest with you, like I hit this moment of this it feels unjust. It feels wrong. And now again, that's just me being very transparent with you about how I felt in that moment. I just felt squeezed. I'm expected to maintain responsibilities at work. And yet also I'm now a full-time homeschool parent. How are we going to do this? And part of I guess my immediate reaction beyond what I'm telling you now is I have to find a way to fix this problem. I have to find a way for the school, so to speak, to entertain changing this policy, seeing things from our point of view, what can be done to try to make this less of a burden for parents in our situation. And I spent all this energy on this is wrong, this is unjust. Now, of course, there's the other side of this coin. I have to understand where the school is coming from. The goal is to maintain school throughout the year. This is a mitigation strategy that was put in place. There are many who can be, at higher risk. Again, not trying to get into the details of the different sides of that coin, the different perspectives. But as the days went on, I realized the bigger question here, and this was my learning, the bigger question here is not, or the main question I should say, is not, how do I right this wrong? How do I change this tie? How do I change this perspective? The bigger question is, how do I be in the midst of this? When life happens and it's out of my control and it's not the decision I would make, that I would choose, that I would want, it's not the chapter I would write, how do I want to be? Because here's the truth. This moment, the moment I'm describing to you of my kids in school, this will pass and another one will happen. That's the way it goes. So the bigger question here is, Wes, how do you fundamentally want to be in order to navigate seasons like this, to navigate life when it happens like this? And that was really helpful for me to kind of dig into that pathway. Questions like not only how do I want to be, who do I want to be? I say we, me, myself, and I, we got into the practical of what do I need to do? What are practical things I need to do so that I can be in this moment? And then to really cap that whole thread off, I had this really great conversation with a colleague of mine who's also a coach. Shout out to Greg. And I can't remember exactly how he asked it, but essentially he helped me realize that, Wes, maybe that emotional response that you were experiencing earlier on in this, the one that you kind of talk about as though it's in the negative, maybe you're making an assumption that that emotional response is wrong in and of itself. What if that is part of it? Man, that helped me realize I think what I'm doing is grieving. I think that's the grieving process. I'm grieving this world that we're still in, this chaos we still endure. Maybe that was just part of it. So it really helped me take the pressure off myself, take the judgment off myself or off that particular reaction, that way of responding. Helped me maybe see it for what it is in the context of, and then even more so helped me shift my focus. Now, how do I want to be when this happens again? So friends, it's been another year. It's hard to believe, but it's been a year, in some ways longer than the last. As we enter into this holiday season, I wish you well. I wish you so much goodness. I wish you peace. I wish you moments of reflection. I wish you moments of being. And if that's something that you would like some help processing through, you know what to do. Shoot me an email, Wes, W-E-S, @cardinalcoachingsolutions.com. And listen, this time of year, as we head into winter here in North America, this time of letting go, of quieting, of preparing, of allowing for growth that we see around in nature. I'm going to do the same thing here, most likely with content creation. I'm going to take a pause, much like I did over the summer, and allow some breathing, some growth, some reflection. But I promise we will do this again soon. Wishing you well, my friends.